My name is Mark. I'm a chef that runs a film and catering company here in Tampa with my wife, Melissa. The name of the company is Son of a Chef. My mom's a chef, so that makes sense. The name runs true. It began as Behind the Bash, actually. That was the name of the company, and that was in 2001. But then we discovered there was a show on the Food Network called Behind the Bash. So we became Son of a Chef in like 2004. We started off doing weddings when we were Behind the Bash. And if you deal with a mother-in-law and a mother and a bride so many times in a row, you pretty much, and then you do a commercial. We did a Tony Little commercial, and it paid very well. And it was so easy. We're like, oh my God, let's just get into this. Let's do film catering like this. And so there was a producer on the Tony Little commercial for Publix commercials. And she was having a real hard time with the director. He was very, very picky. And she's like, do you mind giving this a shot for a Publix shot? And so the director loved this. Ended up calling me to order his own food. And the rest is history. We've been doing it ever since. We've been to Boston, we've been to Tennessee, we've been to New York, and almost every city in Florida. I mean, this past month, we've been in Jacksonville, Miami, Orlando, St. Petersburg, and Tampa. It starts very early, yeah. We're the earliest, obviously, because they want breakfast ready at 5:30 typically, so we have to be there at 4. A lot of times we're in either Orlando or in St. Pete, so there's another 2 hours, hour and a half drive to wherever we're going. And then we're usually leaving around 4. So you're talking a pretty long day. And then you got to shop for the next day, do it all over again. When we did Magic Mike, they had an extras day in Ybor City. The crew and extras came to about 400 people. And I had to have about 9 people on my crew. I actually had to rent equipment. I had to rent like a whole tent, fill a whole tent with cooking equipment. I mean, I was just cooking all around the trailer, in the trailer. We got it done though. Actually, Puerto Rico, we did a job for George Clooney, Menus there goats. I sat down next to Obi-Wan Kenobi and called my son. And I'm like, he was so cool. He was just sitting there having a cocktail and it was great. That was very difficult because we had a lot of Vietnam scenes. And so we'd go out in these far reaches, fields, and there's just been hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people. Well, I mean, trying to figure out where to shop in Puerto Rico, all that was, a whole learning experience. My favorite was we did a movie in Puerto Rico called A Perfect Getaway. It was great. The crew was fantastic. My kids got to come and vacay. We stayed in a wonderful hotel. I mean, it was very few locations, so that was great. It's kind of like the challenge, right? You keep it in your head, everything that you've made them, you don't want to repeat at all. And then you want to come up with stuff that none of them have ever had. And you've been working with most of these people for 14 years plus, So that kind of keeps it interesting and exciting, It involves going to markets and buying duck, stuff, that I know that they've never had on set. And then that kind of gives you a name. Wow, this caterer did duck. He brought lobster and made lobster rolls. We all become family, obviously. Most of us have stayed in the business for an extended length of time. We've watched PAs grow up into cameramen, grips, producers, everything. Sound guys, they were just kids when we met them. It's like so much like family, We've done their weddings, which we didn't mind because, they asked us, would you please do that type of thing. So it just makes you feel at home. So my mom went to culinary school. She's a chef. I've been around food my entire life since I was a kid. My uncle got me a Bon Appetit magazine when I was 10 for Christmas because he knew how much I like to cook. I've just known that's what I've always wanted to do.